Hey guys, Ryan here, and today we're talking about running a professional wrestling event in the COVID-19 era. Coming up. Thanks guys for checking out this video. If you're new here, please consider subscribing below. We put out new videos every single Thursday for 3 Minute Thursday. So I'm recording this video in December of 2020. I don't know when this is gonna go up and what the world will look like. As of this week, they're starting to deploy the vaccinations that hopefully will be the fix to this whole pandemic. So when you're seeing this, the world might be a very different place, for better or for worse. With that disclaimer out of the way, I want to just share some tips and tricks, some of the stuff we did that helped run some events during this crazy time, and the things we did to try to keep everybody safe and keep a sense of normalcy in their lives. So the first thing, and I mentioned this on another video, I think we were the first wrestling company to install temperature checks at the door. Now we did that not just for our talent, but we did that for our staff and for any fans that came in the building. So the way that worked was we basically had a list of every single person that was coming to the show, and we sold tickets ahead of time, and you couldn't buy tickets at the door except if there was any remaining, which fortunately we had sellouts every time. So we made sure we hit our capacity, and we actually went a little bit under just to be safe and to make sure that everybody could be socially distanced, which will be another point that we'll get to. So basically, for the list of staff and wrestlers, I had a checkbox, and I had somebody waiting at the front door. I had one point of entry, and everybody would get their temperature checked, and they would get a bracelet, and they had to wear this bracelet for the remainder of the day until the show started. That's how we knew that they had been checked and they were good. Once they were checked and good, they can come in and do what they needed to do, keep their mask on, all that kind of stuff. We did the same thing for the fans. They would all get a bracelet, and depending on whether they were front row, second row, or whatever their seating option was, bracelets were different colors. But the long story short was we kept track of everybody who came in. We had a list of everybody who was coming in, and we had a record of everybody whose temperature we checked. And to my knowledge, we were the first company that actually went that far. So the things that most other companies did this whole process was socially distancing the seats by your parties. So obviously if you came with a family member, you're sitting at home and you guys aren't wearing masks at home, so obviously it makes sense to group you with your own party. But the people that are sitting to your left or to your right, you don't know them necessarily. So we kept everybody more than 6 feet apart, which is the recommended by the CDC. We actually kept everybody 10 feet apart. For the sake of watching videos, there are some of these shows that you'll watch and be like, wow, there's nobody there. Truth is, we sold out all these shows. We just spaced everybody apart to keep everybody the highest level of safety that we possibly could. So we actually had a show where we sold 75 tickets, and I decided I'm not letting anybody else in no matter what. So the 75 tickets were sold. So we had a couple people, we had like 20 people that decided not to come or couldn't make it or whatever the case was. And we didn't resell those seats. You know, number one, they could show up halfway through the show and I just resold their seats, so now we have to offer them a refund. But I mean, on camera, it didn't look great because, you know, you're looking at a bunch of empty seats in this place, but the truth is we were sold out. So that's just one of those things that it's kind of a give and take. I mean, you're factoring in everybody's safety, and it's really at the expense of how the show looks. But at the end of the day, how the show looks is never as important as everybody's safety. The other thing we did was we set up hand sanitizing stations throughout the building. So that's wherever there was going to be food, which we actually kept all the food in an outdoor location. So it was kind of the fall, early winter, so it was still nice enough that people could go outside and eat. And that also kind of kept the open air aspect out there, so people weren't in as much danger if they had to take off their masks to go ahead and eat. When people first came in, we kept them in the locker room for everybody there. We also had a crew that sanitized the ring in between each match. They washed down the ropes, they sprayed the ring canvas, and did everything they could to keep everything sanitary for everybody competing that night. The other thing we required, obviously, masks for everybody in the building, so anybody who was there attending the show needed to wear a mask and keep it on for the duration of the show, with the exception if you went outside to eat. Now, there's a lot of question marks, and there was a lot of drama with running these shows because at any point, somebody could be not feeling well and may not necessarily get a test or be able to get the test results in time for the show. So we actually had, on the couple shows that we ran during this pandemic era, we had very last minute changes. I'm talking the day before, the day of, where people just weren't feeling well. Luckily, everybody turned out okay. There was nobody who was hospitalized or anything like that. But there was some scary situations there where people might have it. And luckily, everybody that I was fortunate enough to work with had the foresight to be overly transparent and let everybody know and put everybody's safety ahead of their own maybe career goals or aspects. So we were very beneficial. You know, the couple shows that we didn't have any outbreaks, and there was no increase of the pandemic stemming from any of our events because we were real strict with all our guidelines. So this is by no means a how-to. This is just a, here's what I did, here's what worked for us, and we were fortunate in this situation. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please beat the shit out of the like button, and we'll see you next week for 3 Minute Thursday.